Welcome to the Fit Vegan Podcast, the show where we help you optimize your health, fitness, and mindset on a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. My name is Maxime Sigouin. I am a former triathlete, powerlifter, bodybuilder, and basketball player, and I've been vegan for over 9 years. I'm also the founder and CEO of Fit Vegan Coaching, which has helped over 500 vegans from 20 different countries to completely transform their bodies and their health. I'm excited for you to hear today's episode. Let's get into the show. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fit Vegan Podcast. Today, I just wanted to make it more of like an open topic specific. There's not anything specific that I wanted to share with you all, but just a few thoughts to help you navigate the holiday and New Year's resolution as it's coming by. The big part is, and it's a stereotype as well at this point, right? People always wait to the New Year's to start acting on their New Year's resolution. And here's my personal thought on that. It is a muscle to take imperfect action when there's a specific goal that you want to reach. And the muscle of waiting until a specific time, so the next Monday, the next week, the next month, or the next year, to start taking action on a goal that's really important to you is not the right muscle that you want to strengthen. The right muscle that you want to strengthen is to take imperfect action and learn to take action now. And so one thing I would invite you to do over the holidays, and that's personally how I approach every single goal setting that I have. If I tell myself I want to get a six-pack for the summer, if I tell myself that I want to race an Ironman, if I tell myself that I want to start another business, if I tell myself that I want to finish, read X amount of books, or that I want to improve a specific area in my relationship, I don't wait till the next time. I try to figure out how can I start the process of becoming better or progressing towards that goal now. Whether that is simply going online, like one of the things for 2023, I was looking into buying a home and hiking Kilimanjaro for next year. And so I was looking at like Kilimanjaro, not necessarily that I have to start training or anything like that, but just Google like how much does it cost to go hike Kilimanjaro? Like what are the things that are involved in that process? So because it's something that I'm still considering putting it on my list of things that I want to do, because there's a lot of things happening in 2023, but just doing the research towards the thing so you have a better idea of what would be needed for you to reach that goal, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is, if there's something that's important to you, don't wait to a specific time. Start the process now. And the process now doesn't mean that you start working out 5 times a week off the bat and you start watching your nutrition right away. But it maybe is just simply like, hey, let's go on YouTube and educate ourselves about plant-based nutrition, about training. Let's go look at nutritionfacts.org. Let's go follow Dr. Greger, the Esselstyn. Like, just go follow all those key people to have a better understanding of like how plant-based nutrition works, right? Follow myself. There's a lot of amazing vegan coaches out there. There's not a lot of whole food plant-based one. I'm the only one that I know of. Everyone else uses fake meat, but there's a lot of people that have some good tidbits of knowledge that you can follow and start to educate yourself. If the next step for you is to hire a coach, hire a coach. If it's simply to do research, do research. If it's simply to just like, you've never really worked out in your life and you want to start exercising and you're severely overweight, start with walking, right? Just start with including a little bit of movement in your lifestyle. It doesn't have to be a big thing at the start. Because when we do that, and this is how it's going to feel like for New Year's resolution, I'm recording a podcast specifically on typical mistakes that people make in the fitness and health space for New Year's resolution and why so many people fall off. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But the biggest thing is we set these major goals when it comes to the new year, and then we enter new year and then we're like, oh my God, I have to climb this huge mountain. And being humans, we want to get there as fast as possible with the least amount of work as possible. And like, hey, I get that. I love efficiency as well. But the thing is, it can be overwhelming to look at this massive mountain if you don't already have a little bit of momentum going for you. And you're like, oh my God, you think you have to get there in one step. But the reality is it's going to take a lot of very small steps, and you need to get fitter, right, as you progress towards the top. And playing on the analogy of hiking a mountain, and for you to transform your body and your health on a whole food plant-based lifestyle, especially if you want to like disease-proof your body, reduce inflammation, improve your gut health, is when you hike a mountain. We'll just grab Kilimanjaro because that's what I mentioned earlier. When you go to hike big mountains like that, right? You train before to be able to start the process. But the thing is, there's a acclimatization that you have to do, right? Your body has to get used to like less and less oxygen as you're going up in the mountain. Because if you just go from down all the way to the top, like you're going to get sick and you're not going to feel really well. So when you hike the mountain, there's processes that you have to follow. You can't go as fast as you want. Like there's specific steps that you have to respect in order to keep yourself healthy and make the journey as enjoyable as possible. Well, it's the same thing for your fat loss, for your body recon, for your muscle building, if you're training for an Ironman, whatever it may be. Like there's specific steps and processes and checkpoints that you have to go through throughout that time. You can't just go from like on the couch to like, I'm going to run an Ironman tomorrow. Your body is not going to be able to handle it. And so there's certain habits, there's certain actions, there's certain things that you need to do to acclimatize to becoming this person that will be able to be at the peak of that mountain. And the peak of that mountain could be whatever for you, right? It could be losing 40 pounds. It could be doing an Ironman. It could be running a 10K. It could be just bettering yourself as a person in your relationship. It could be changing your career, starting your own business, whatever it may be. But there's always a period of adaptation that everyone has to go through regardless of what the goal is. And honestly, and I've talked about this with my team yesterday, I was looking for a word for that, for like the phase of adaptation that happens from like where you are to where you want to be. There's a period of adaptation. And if you have a good understanding that this is normal and it's kind of shitty and it's hard and it's challenging, if you know that this is going to happen every time you are faced with a new challenge that you either take on personally because you're like, I want to run an Ironman, or that life throws your way, like, you know, your partner gets sick and you have to learn to provide for them, right? Life just throws you things that you have to deal with sometimes. Like if you understand that that period of adaptation is there, then it's so powerful and it's so much easier for you to stick through the hard times. So what I mean by that is, for those of you that have businesses or have kids, if I were to grab you as 20-year-old and put you in your current position, I'm very confident that the 20-year-old you would freak out from being in your position, right? With the level of obligation that you have with your career, with your family, with your partner, and all the things you have going on. I don't think your 20-year-old self would be able to handle that amount of stress and obligation, right? But now you're able to, but you are you, right? So it wasn't someone different at 20 years old. Like you are still you. The only thing that changed is throughout the years, right? Life kind of threw you different curveballs and different challenges, and you became stronger and more resilient and more adaptive, and eventually got to the place where you're at now, where you can handle your current position with all the different stressors and obligations and things that you have going on in your life, right? Throughout the process, I'm sure it was challenging. I'm sure there was a lot of bumps in the road, but you still managed to pull through, right? I'm a big believer that God won't put something in your life that he doesn't think you can handle, right? So everything that is there, you can handle. Everything that is there for a reason, is there for you to be able to improve and to bring you towards the goal that you want, right? A big belief of mine is that if you ask for a big life, if you ask for a specific thing, God will put challenges in your life to allow you to become the strong, resilient person that you need to be to live in that position. You can choose to bail on those challenges and on those struggles, but that is a personal choice. And by doing that, you're quitting on becoming the person that you could have been and that you said that you wanted to be. And so that's why I always take every challenge face on. And for those of you that don't know me, right, I had a ex-partner who passed away from breast cancer. It was a 5-year battle. And so like I've had my fair share of battles and hard times and struggles in my life, being a 24/7 caregiver, being the bank to pay for the treatments. Like I understand that on a really deep level. And the big thing that helped me was, understanding that there's an adaptation phase, and that this was a new thing in my life that I was like, shit, like I want to be here because I loved my partner. And I was like, I need to adapt to this, and I eventually will. And there was a lot of times where I didn't think that I didn't think that I would be able to handle it, but I just focused on showing up, and I understood it. Like eventually my mind would adapt to how stressful the situation was. And, as the situation got more stressful and she got more sick, like my brain just had to adapt to these different levels of challenges. And so, it's just going back to the main point of, if there's a specific goal that you want to reach, or if life is throwing you a specific curveball, you full on have the ability to handle it. You just need to become more mentally resilient, and that's only going to happen as you go through the process. And that's why it's really important for you to analyze, is this something that I have to go through? Is this something that I want to go through? And is what is at the end of this journey, is that something that I am wanting, right? So whether that is, I want to do an Ironman, there's going to be a lot of training that's going to take place that will very much challenge you on a physical, mental, and emotional level, but also challenge your social life, right? Will also challenge your relationship because you're training to a really big extent. If you're just wanting to improve your body composition and train and eat healthier, right? The challenge is not just physical and nutritional, it's emotional and psychological, and from a social life aspect, because if you're in a place where you're currently carrying excess weight, where you're unhappy with your body, it kind of tells me that there's an environment around you that was conducive to you getting to that position. And so probably there's a way that you're eating with your partner. Probably there's a way that you're eating with friends and living, right? I had tons of members come in the program and they were just drinking and smoking and eating shit food with their friends. And then they're like, I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm tired of feeling inflamed and not feeling good. I had a family member that had a health scare. I just want to get better. And then they start eating healthier. They start exercising. And then all their friends around are like, hey, what are you doing? Come and drink with us. Come to the bar with us. Hey, let's go to like whatever restaurant and eat some shit food. And then you have to make a decision. Like, what do I really want this? Okay, well, I need to like be honest and potentially start distancing myself from that friend group. Your environment is going to change. Like, there's a lot that happens when you trying to shift who you are at your core in terms of like your habits for health and nutrition, right? Like, it's a big part of your life. You're like, hey, I'm not going to go and watch Netflix for 4 hours with you, or I'm not going to go to the bar with you. I'm going to go exercise, or I'm going to go home so I can get a good night of sleep so I can work out the next day, right? There's a lot that comes with transforming a body. And that's why when a lot of people come into the program, they're like, I'm ready to work out and exercise. I'm like, that's great. But like, here are the other things that are going to happen, right? Like, your relationship might be challenged a little bit, because if your partner is the reason where it's like, I just want to order takeout, I just want to eat unhealthy food, but there might be some hard conversations that need to happen with your partner. If it's your friend group, there's need to be a conversation, potentially a distancing, because you need to change your environment if you want to be successful, especially for the long run, right? This is all for you to live a healthy and long life. On the flip side, which is not necessarily a negative side, but like, when you lose a bunch of weight, like, you need a new wardrobe, right? It's a good problem to have, but it's a genuine problem that members are like, oh shit, like, I lost 40 pounds. Like, I need a brand new wardrobe now. Like, nothing fits me. Everything is too big, right? Again, great problem to have, but still something to consider when you're doing a transformation, right? So the environment is super important, and understand that any challenge that will come forth as you take on this journey is there to serve you, is there to help you become more mentally resilient and have realizations about yourself that would allow you to move forward, right? For some people, when they start their transformation, it's just like, I have a hard time exercising. I have a hard time getting myself to go to the gym. I have a hard time being motivated to go to the gym. And for some people, they're like, they start like, I can go to the gym anytime. I love it. I struggle with nutrition, right? I struggle with meal prepping, or I struggle with social events, making the right decisions when I'm at the restaurant. And that's why I called it the Fit Vegan Blueprint, our program, because it's a blueprint for each individual person. Like, my blueprint is different than your blueprint, right? Like, we have a different body, we have a different life, we have a different level of obligation. And so we tweak everything to each member, and we help support them in whatever area that they struggle the most. But like, that is a part of transformation. And mentioned that this would be a little bit all over the place of a podcast. For those of you that are on audio, I'm just going to drink a little sip of coffee. So going back to New Year's is arriving soon. This podcast will be out 2-3 days before Christmas. Practice the muscle of taking imperfect action, right? I hate starting something really far away, because like, again, New Year's, January to me is so far. It's like it's 11 days away, right? I'm recording this on the 19th. It's 11 days away. Like, why would I wait 11 days if there's something that I really want to do? Like, I don't have it in me to not take action towards the things that I want. And this wasn't always like that. I wasn't always like that. I was very lazy, and I procrastinated a lot, and I used perfectionism as my means of procrastination. I was like, well, I'm not going to do it now because it's not going to be perfect, right? I'm not going to do it now because it's not going to be the right time. Like, I want it to be perfect and great when I do it. And then I realized that I never accomplished shit in my life because I was always waiting for the perfect time and for things to be perfect. And I was like, there has to be a way, like there's certain things that I want to accomplish in my life. How are other people doing it? I'm like, they're just failing the whole way through. And then once I realized that people are just failing the whole way through, but they're learning from the lesson of failure, and then they were getting better and they try something and they fail and they learn and they make it better. I was like, oh shit, like it's kind of like a video game, because I used to play video games when I was younger. When you have different levels in the video game and you play and then you die at level 1, but now you know that there's like something that's going to kill you at that point in the level. Now you know the next time you get your new life that you can like watch out for that, and then you move forward. And then maybe you clear level 1, you get to level 2, and then something kills you in level 2, like, oh shit, I need to watch that. Or I need to train to be able to beat that whatever boss before I get to the next level, right? Like that's literally all life is. And like whatever goal you want to have is literally all it is. It's literally just a game. It's like, okay, let's try this. Oh shit, didn't work. Okay, learn. Why did it not work? Okay, let's not do that next time. Let's try this next time. And then over and over and over and over and over again, right? For example, Fit Vegan Coaching was born almost 3 years ago. And it took me about 11 years to get to that place where I could create Fit Vegan Coaching. And I'm very proud to say that we've helped over 600 people just through Fit Vegan Coaching, and about an extra 200-300 people through the other companies that I own. So like, it took me like a long time before I can get to that position. A long time of failure and trial and getting back up and getting beat down to the ground and learning from it and getting back up and trying different things until get to this position where I'm like, damn, I really love doing this, and just actually taking imperfect action and moving forward with it. And so what I invite you to do is now, between now and New Year's, right? Just sit down and meditate and have some peace for a little bit, and then write down the things that are important to you for 2023 that you would like to reach. All right. You should have 2 goals, right? 2 goals you want something for your physical, you want something for your health, you want something for your mind, you want a relationship one, you want a career one, and you want a money one. I want 2 goals per each. Personally, I've set a 6-month goal and a 1-year goal, right? The 1-year goal is a little bit bigger. The 6-month goal is a little bit more achievable because I need to get those wins, right? It just makes me feel good. So I'm like, how can I set something 6 months out from the New Year's that I can actively work towards it? I'm like, yeah, I got there. That could be reaching half of the goal that you want for the full year, right? Or it could be a completely different goal for the 6 months. That's totally up to you and what is in your heart for you to accomplish for next year. But the big part is that I don't want to be the same person when it comes to the end of 2023. I don't want to be in the same position. I want to be in a better position. I want to be a better man. I want to be a better partner. I want to be a better coach. I want to be a better entrepreneur. I want to be a better speaker. I want to be a better leader. There's certain things that are on my list that are going to allow me to get to the place that I want to. And then I'm going to break down these goals because it's so fun to get those quick wins and you know that you're on track and you're doing well, right? And the thing is, if you don't hit a certain milestone by a certain date, it's fine. Don't quit, right? Just keep moving forward. At the end of the day, it's a timeline to get to the goal. But if the timeline is a little bit longer, I'm okay with it because all I want is get to the end goal. If it takes me a year or 2 years, like I'm cool with 2 years too, because at the end, I still get to reach the goal that I want. And a lot of the goals that I have are more like a continuous improvement type of deal because, you know, if I want to become a better man, that can always improve. There's always areas that I can improve. If I want to become a better partner, there's always area that I can improve and tweak. And it's just work in progress for the rest of my life. And so knowing that, I just like to set milestone to work towards, because if you don't set a goal, you'll never actually reach any of them because you don't have a sense of direction. You don't have clarity as to what it's going to look like when you actually reach your goal. One thing, I hired a Tony Robbins coach this year, and I've been working with them for 4 to 5 months now. And I've set goal. I hired them, just paid in full for 1 year. I was like, I'm committed to this. Like, let's do this. I've always wanted to work with Tony Robbins' team. And I've set goals that I want to reach for 1 year. I set 3 goals that I want to reach for 1 year. I reach all of them in 3 months. And then I set new goals, and I've reached those at the 5-month mark. I think I've been 5 months with them. And so I was talking to my coach, Colum, and I was like, he's like, hey, what do you want to focus on next? I was like, what do you mean? I was like, you reach all the goals that you came in for. Like, they're already done. He's like, you're one of the ones that like actually takes action on the things that you say that you want to do. Like, all the things that you told me when we started, like you hit all of them, right? One of them was there's certain things on relationship level that I wanted to improve. There's certain things on a personal level that I wanted to work through. There was one of them that I wanted to be debt free. It's a goal that's been on my list for 10 years. Finally made that happen this year. But there's specific things. And he was like, dude, you just like, you've hit all those. You've done all those pretty consistently since we started. And so now we're setting new goals for 2023. And they're a lot bigger than the original goals that I set, because I'm now like, wow, I said I was going to do this in 1 year. I did it in 3 months. I'm like, what if I set this big goal, right? Like, will that take me 1 year, or will it take me 6 months? And now I'm kind of having like a fun game of challenging myself of like, can I reach this in 6 months instead of 1 year, right? So seeing it as a game is really important. So again, going back to the main topic, right? That's why I have topics for podcast episodes, because then I just go all over the place, because I have a lot of things that I want to share. I love helping people. If you guys all notice about me, every time I read a book or listen to a video or have a conversation with a mentor or someone and I learn something, my brain automatically goes to like, how can I use this to help people? I don't even go to like me first. That's like my second thought. When I learn something, I'm like, how can I pass on this information to help people that follow me on social media, people to listen to me on the podcast, for my members? Like, how do I help people around me with this information? That's my first thought. And then the second thought is like, okay, wait, like if I'm going to pass that on to other people, I need to implement it in my life as well. And that's what's kind of forcing me to improve, because it's kind of a hypocrite of me to be like, hey, you need to do this to improve your life if I'm not doing it. But my first thought is I learned something. I was like, oh, how can I help people with that? I'm like, wait, how do I help myself with it? So now I can justify passing it along to other people. And then I can test it for myself to see if it actually works. Because I don't think coaches or people should pass along things to others if they're not willing to do it themselves, right? So I always treat my members that way. I wouldn't ask them to do something that I wouldn't be willing to do, right? Yeah. So going back to the point, take action on a goal that's important for you for New Year's resolution before New Year's. Honestly, whether that's just like going online and committing to something, whether it's just going to doing research on a specific thing. Like I said, for me, Kilimanjaro, looking at the cost, like what's the gear that you need? What are the agencies for the people that you need to hire to help you hike the mountain? Like just doing your research and getting some information, because a lot of the time we think we have an idea of what it's going to take to reach that goal. And I'll be honest, I heard that it was about $30K to hike Kilimanjaro. And then I was like, that's the number I had in my head. I was like, I got to put $30K aside, $60K for me and Ivy to go. I got to put $60K aside. Like, that's a lot of freaking money to go hike Kilimanjaro. And I was like, wow, I might take like, 2 years to be able to do that. And then I was like, I looked into the numbers of Kilimanjaro, and I think it was like 8 or 10K. With the Sherpas and then the equipment and the flight, like it was about that. So I think it was like 8 to 10. So like max 20K for me and Ivy to go and hike Kilimanjaro. It went from 60 to 20, right? Do you see how the goal just became a lot more achievable for me to be able to do it, right? So simply by doing research, because I heard someone say that it would take this long. I heard someone say that it would take all these steps to make this happen. And I did some research and I was like, shit, it's not actually that complex. And it's actually a third cheaper than what I thought it would be. And so sometimes you may have a goal in your head and you're like, oh, that's what's going to be needed to get there, or that's how long it's going to take to get there. Do a bit of research. You might be surprised that the thing is actually a lot faster than you think it would be, right? For a lot of people, if they want to lose 20 pounds, fat loss is a little bit different because people like to lose fat really fast. But the thing when you do that, your body composition is shit. You just look like a skinny, flabby vegan because you lose a lot of muscle mass the faster you lose weight, right? So a lot of people are trying to lose like 20 pounds in 1 month, right? If you work with us, we'll take you 3 months simply because I want to build muscle. I want you to retain muscle. Like I want you to actually look good once you lose the 20 pounds. I don't want you to look, to feel like to look skinny, to have no energy and to not feel good. Like I want you to feel good at the end of it. But some people, some people just gain and lose the same 20 pounds for 10 years. Right? So I'm like, it doesn't have to take 10 years. You can get it done in 3 months and then you do 3 months of reverse dieting. And then you're eating a shit ton of food to maintain your 20-pound fat loss. Your body looks great. You have a ton of energy. You feel awesome. And then we sped up your metabolism post fat loss. Now you can maintain your 20-pound fat loss while eating a ton of food. And then you're good to go. Like you don't have to spend any more mental energy on fat loss. You can just move forward with your life and focus on something else. Right? So you guys have more information on that. There's a link down below for the program. But again, whatever your goal is, do some research because it might be less effort or less of a timeline or less expensive than what you think it will be. And that was my surprise with the Kilimanjaro trip thing. So anyways, so big thing I want to announce as well for you guys that made it all the way till the end. realize I've been talking for 24 minutes straight, is we're doing a giveaway for our coaching, and the information will be in the next podcast that will come out next Monday. So I think it's on Boxing Day, December 26th. So be sure to stay tuned for that podcast episode. All the details are going to be in there. You have the opportunity to work with us for 6 months for free. We'll do a 20-pound fat loss, 3 months of reverse dieting, just like I showed you the example, where we'll be able to speed up your metabolism post fat loss. I do that every single year for January, because we've been doing it every single year, and it's been beautiful to see the winner completely transform their body and just have a brand new lease on life and have a new level of energy and health and stamina. And I just like offering that to people. It's been a beautiful year for Fit Vegan Coaching. We've helped a lot of people this year. I think we're over 300 people this year that we've been able to help. And so just want to give back for January and help one lucky person transform their body. And so just stay tuned for the podcast next week. That's going to be live on there. The giveaway will only be open for 5 days, so the week between Christmas and New Year's, and then it's going to be closed. So if you're listening to this podcast after that, unfortunately, it's closed, right? The only giveaway I'll do is next year. And awesome. So guys, thank you very much for listening to the podcast episode. Thank you much for all your support this year. It really means a lot. Again, if you want more detail about the program, there's a link down below. You can join our free Fit Vegan Facebook community. All the links are down there, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Ciao.